Hello, everybody. This is Jimmy Hitchcock and Marcus Wall on the Hitch and Wall Show. Hitch and Wall podcast talks about everything. We're going to talk about a little bit of me tonight, but we're going to also talk about Super Bowl, and we're going to talk about who's going to win it. And my prediction, Marcus Wall, is I'm going to have to go with, I'm going Philly, man. You made the prediction a while back, and you said it would be them, but I think you might be right. I think I'm gonna have to jump on your bandwagon and say Saquon ain't having it. It could be Saquon leaving with a ring after going through that craziness with the Giants. What are your thoughts?
No, I'm in full agreement with it. No doubt about it that I'm still sticking with Philly to win it all. They got a tall task ahead of them now. Let's not get it twisted. But
absolutely,
I think Philly.
Yeah, I hate to say anything against Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? You hate to say anything against that dude because when you do, he show you every time that he that dude. He is that dude. And I'm telling you, people always having these problems and they talk about it's a conspiracy and it's rigged and things like that. But you find when you watch a game, team after team, every time seem to make the dumbest mistakes in the dumbest time of the game. You know, in the most critical point in the game, they make the dumbest decisions, the dumbest mistakes at the most critical times in the game.
Well, I think the fact that Philly has the best defense, especially that defensive front, man, it's
yes,
both of them are extremely good. But I just think Philly has the better of the two. And obviously, defense wins championships. Offense sells tickets. So this is the best championship to have at this point.
Yeah, and the thing is Philly does have the experience now. They have experience because they've been there, and the thing that I remember most about my my pro career is one thing, and we were playing the Falcons in '98, and we had the best team in the league. And we should have won it that year. But at the critical points in the game, at the end, I was watching the sideline, and the coaches were shaking, literally. The coaches they couldn't get the plays to the team because they were so in a panic and shaking. Because they have never been there, had never been there before, and I didn't have the best game, but I played okay. But some guys stepped up in that moment that were just dogs that they stepped up. But the ability to have the experience, if you have had that experience, it is big time key to how you end up playing in that Super Bowl. I feel, but Philly played pretty good the last time they were in it, but they didn't win it because they lost to Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they played pretty good.
And it didn't have Saquon.
He didn't have Saquon, right?
The team was new to getting there. Everything was, so I get it.
Yeah, that offensive line this time, I think, will be instrumental in taking down the Chiefs, because the Eagles' front line is, oh my God, I'm talking about on the offense and defense. They got two rugged, incredible, those two fronts. I think they're going to take the day. I'm going with Philly. I'm going with Philly.
Yeah, they say the game is won in the trenches.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. But we also going to talk about some of the experiences that that I went through, and it's a lot of people always ask me, and they sometimes they can't get it out, but I what I'm saying, sometimes I feel like that they want to ask me the questions, some of the questions that you're going to ask me now, and you can go ahead, and we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about it for the rest of the night, and we'll revisit it at another time. After we get a couple more people on, we'll revisit it at another time and finish it out.
Before we get into that, tell us about that Super Bowl experience, like the whole practices and that type of stuff. Let people on the inside of what to expect if they were a player.
If you're a player, and I didn't get to actually play in the Super Bowl that I went to, but
Right.
because that was when I was with the Patriots, and that was the
Right.
first time in '96 I played with Parcells. But I practiced the whole week, and I had a really great week of practice.
Right.
And they replaced me with Otis. Otis, he had an okay good. Ryzen beat him on a post, and they had thrown that post to me. They had thrown that post several times to the second team. I was on the second team, and I knew that I could stop that post. And for the rest of my career, I stopped that same play because I could tell when they was going to run it every time. They would run it on. They would put the guy on the number, and they would run a quick post inside.
Right.
So every year after that, that just set in my head, and I said every time I get that play, I'm going to stop it. But during the whole week, you could just feel the tension. You know what I'm saying? Just the nervousness and the tension, and and then when we were in the locker room, the tension was just so thick. No, sometimes teams that are loose play better. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like people joking around and doing what they always do, but during that time, the guys were just like it was a funeral almost. like how like so nervous and so just
big.
Caught up in that moment. They were just so nervous,
Right.
and just being able to be there and try to win a championship, those nerves overtake you. And in the first quarter of the game, you expend so much energy that you get exhausted really quickly, know. And I think that is the biggest difference in a team that's been there before and a team that hasn't been there before. Because that team that's been there before, they know what I just said. And they try to keep their calm, they try to relax, they try to do everything that they've done before, and try to develop some type of normalcy to that game. But ain't nothing normal about that Super Bowl.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, ain't nothing normal about it. You know what I'm saying? And at coming out of that game, you either gonna have a loser's ring or you're gonna have that championship ring.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was in a situation where I felt like 3 of the teams that I was on could have won it.
Right.
96 team, we went and lost it to Green Bay. We could have won that game. We went for it on fourth down on multiple times with Coach Parcells would gamble, and I think we shouldn't have done it, and we took some risk. The second time was 98 when I feel like we should have ran through the league. We had Randy Moss. He was his rookie year, and he just crushed, killing. You know what I'm saying? In the 97 team with Pete Carroll, we lose to Pittsburgh 7-6 when Cordell just break it down the sideline, and he scores, and the score end up 7-6. That team probably was one of the most talented that I was on, but Curtis Martin was hurt. And we were playing without the only guy we really had that was productive was Troy Brown. And Troy Brown was killing them too. And we stayed in the game. But we lost it 7-6, bro. So those 3 teams, but the one that stand out the most to me is that Viking 15-1 team when we should have won it, And it stands out in my mind big time because we just folded our offense was the number 1 offense in the league, in the history of the league at the time. And we gave them that ball back in overtime. They got the ball in overtime and couldn't get 3 points out of it. Bro, we go down, we driving down the field, and we on a 7-yard line. Gary Anderson ain't missed a kick all year and shank it off to the right. and that's when everybody went into a panic. You know, that pressure, boy. That pressure is a cooker, boy. That pressure got on everybody, and you could see the doubt in people's eyes. You know what I'm saying? As the games kept going and going and going, you could see the nervousness and everybody shaking. And just like I said, the coach would say, it was unbelievable, man. But I can understand. I feel these guys. I hope whoever wins, I just hope it's a great game.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. All right, let's jump on into the real.
All right.
We know the fabulous, we know the fancy, the balling, all of the such. But then we all somehow seem to go through a grim time, a dark time. And just share your dark moment with us. You are the guest today on the Hitch and Wall show. So let's start there.
All right. Yeah, man. Like I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna start it out by saying this, and I said it in one of my other podcasts, is when I was playing football, I had all the structure there. I had all my structure was there. And because I came up in a situation where it was like a tough environment, football was my outlet. But it was not only my outlet, it was my parents, because it kept me eligible. It made me want to get good grades so I can play. It made me want to do the right thing so I could be on the team. You see what I'm saying? It kept me exercising so I could be the strongest and the fastest. It kept me, disciplined food wise because I wanted to be in great shape. And then it was like structural as far as what I'm doing every day. You see what I'm saying? So when I got out of football, it was like my parents died. You know what I'm saying? It was like all of my structure crumbled, and I kept telling myself in my head that I would be good. And once it got toward the end of my career, and I could see the writing on the wall, because people were just kind of checking me off on my knees, right? I had 2 ACL tears. So both of my knees, I never got them repaired. So I had 2 ACL tears in my knees and never got them repaired ever.
Since high school.
Since high school. 9th and 10th grade, I tore my ACLs, right? So every time I go through the physical, I was supposed to go in the first round, Right. I was supposed to go in the first round, and I ran a 4.37, at the workout. I ran slow at the combine because they found out that I had no ACLs in my knees and they was messing with my knees. Right. But then I work out for the pros. I run 4.37, but like your boy Dog was talking about, I could front squat like 520.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. And then broke the record on the back squat with 620, at the time, now and Rick Terry did it the next year. He broke it the next year, but then people come back behind and they do other things, other feats. But at the time, I was broke the record in the squat. So I didn't really think about my knees as a problem. But as I got older in the NFL, they would start to get more and more concerned about it, because they felt like it was going to leave them with the liability. You see what I'm saying? So once I got into my 8th year, everybody wanted to overcheck my knees and over talk about my knees. And my agent would be like, "He's been playing with them for 7 years. I mean, what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? What's the problem?" So I got so frustrated with that situation that I turned in my paperwork for retirement after 8 years, and ironically, me and Nate had said, both of us, to each other, we were going to play about 8 years. not thinking, I was thinking in my mind, nah, I probably played 10, 11, but
Right.
8 came out of my mouth. And just so happened, both of us played 8 years. It was kind of weird, you know. So, just once I finished playing ball, I just didn't have any direction, dude. Like, and not only that, but I was so depressed. I was so like in my feelings and really didn't know it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I know you probably went through a little bit
Yes.
too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I was just so in my feelings and didn't know it. And my ex-wife at the time was trying to tell me, but I wasn't listening,
Because we don't see it. We
because we
don't
don't
we don't
see
know
it.
it that way. And we're
Right.
usually battling through things.
Right.
Yeah.
I just didn't know it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I could feel it. I knew a part of it, but I just wasn't able to admit it. I wasn't able to say to her, I'm hurt. Like, I need help. You know what I'm saying? And as the relationship went on, she got more and more tired, and I ended up going to a therapist. And the therapist, hey, pointed it out, said, this is what's going on.
Right.
By that time, my family started crumbling, right? And then I was a trader, so I was doing things in the market. I was trading in the market. I was a pretty good trader. In the year that the stock market went down in like 2001 to 2002, I actually made like 160,000 on my own. I took my account. Yeah, I took my account from my banker because he had lost so much money in the bubble burst when the bubble burst in the .com era.
Right.
So I said, I want my account, and I just fired him. And he's a great guy, but he just what made me mad is I had put like $25,000 into Broadcom, which turned out to be an incredible company today. But I put 25,000 into it, and his responsibility was to keep an eye on my stocks. So I get my statement, and I hadn't been looking at my statement. So I get my statement, and I see that the stock is worth $300. I put 25,000 in that stock.
Right.
It's worth $300. So I said, and I kept going through my paperwork, and I know it was the .com had burst, that bubble had burst, but I was like, what is going on? And then I told him to sell it. I told him to sell the stock.
Right.
I should have just held it, but I told him to sell it because I was so frustrated. When he sold it, he had more money out of the transaction than I made.
How is that possible?
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at my statements, and I'm like, this man has bought and sold, and now he got more money out of the deal than I got. You know what I'm saying? So I fired him, and I told him send my money over to my account, and I started trading it on my own. And that was right before I retired, right? And this was my last year with the Patriots. I was really focused more on that than I was the season, and I should have been focused on the season. You know what I'm saying? So,
question real quick: what got you in the stocks? Most folks coming from where we come from don't know about stocks in that manner.
Johnny Parker was my trainer. He was like our mad dog. Right. But he was just on a different side of the world, mad dog. He was just like, we would do 14 sets of squats, that type of thing.
I remember Johnny.
You remember Johnny, right?
Yes.
Johnny's off the chain.
Yeah.
But he used to talk to me about stocks every day. Every day that I worked out, he used to say, are you keeping up with the markets? You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't know nothing about the markets. He was like, I would suggest that you get these books. And I just ignored him. And then Sean Jefferson
Okay.
You know, he was coaching with the Detroit Lions. I don't know I don't know where he's at now,
He's still
but
in the league though.
he's
He's
still
still
in the league
coaching in
though.
the
Yeah.
league. Yeah.
But Sean Jefferson used to drive this big old Ford truck. He used to always save all his money.
Country
And
boy.
country boy. Loved him.
Yeah.
And he said, Hitch, yeah, I got some Berkshire Hathaway stocks. You know, I've been putting money in my Berkshire Hathaway, and that at that time it wasn't near what it is today. It's it's more than 25 times now what it was then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he was like, put your money in Berkshire Hathaway, but other people were saying, don't do that. And I should have listened to Sean. But other people was like, do the individual stocks. So I went and got the books, and I sit down with the books, and I studied every day because I was on the bench. You know what I'm saying? I was on the bench. So I had to. I had plenty of time, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I started reading books and just got into it. And bro, like when I say I got into it when John Casey, and I forgot Mitch Berger,
offensive lineman.
He was a punter. It was a punter. We used to stand on the side and talk about stocks at the practice. They would have their cell phone in their sock, bro, and and they would call their broker at water break. That's how serious we were about it. You know what I'm saying? They would call their broker at water break, and because we were so competitive, I would want to have a better story about my stocks than they had about theirs. Right. So I you know how we are. You know, when you get competitive about something, you get all in. So I went further than all in, but I had turned that. I went from like 1.7 million down to 700,000. I took it right back to 1.6 ish, 1.5, 1.6 ish. So I gained all my money back.
Right.
But when I retired, I had too much time on my hands. Right. And I wanted to something I said I would never do. I started doing it, which is day trading. I was what's called a right, every day. And what I was before that was a swing trader, which was I would wait it out 2 to 3 months, 6 months at the max and see if the stocks move here or there. But what I was good at is stocks move in a range, right? And before they break out, they move in that range back and forth. So they might go at the time, Microsoft would go from $23 to $18 all the time. Right. So what I would do is I would just play that little area right there from 18 to 23. And I would buy at 18, sell at 23, buy at 18, sell at 23. And sometime I would short it going back down to 18. You see what I'm saying? Right. So that's how I would get the money. I would play those swings. It's called swing trading. Mm-hmm. So I said to myself, hell, I could probably day trade now, because I was doing so well. I got cocky, and I said, I think I can day trade, which in the mentality that I was in at the time, which was depression. I was depressed after I left. See, I started thinking this when I was depressed. And I think the reason why I started doing it is because I wanted to do more. You see what I'm saying? I wanted to be I was bored. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I played a lot of golf, but I played golf, and just like we were talking with Leon, I went from like 112 to like started playing in the 80s that same year, And then, and then I got down to I was playing consistent between 76 and 81. Sometime I would jump all the way down to 73. I had a couple of under par rounds on a couple of nines, So I started playing really good golf. So that started to become boring. You know what I mean? It started to become boring.
Right.
So I didn't want to do that every day. So I was like, I'll start day trading. And it was the worst decision I ever made in my life, bro. Like I'm talking about the worst decision ever, man. Yeah.
Like went away.
Yeah, like what I started doing is taking leverage, and I started trading my account on margin. Right. So back then you could trade at 40 times the value of your portfolio.
Okay.
Right. So if I had $1 million, I could trade $40 million worth of stock.
Right.
Crazy numbers. Those are astronomical numbers. I think that's changed now. I don't know if they changed it back, but I haven't been in the market for a long time. I really want to go back and do it. I don't need to go back, right? I really want to go back and just, take 25,000 and just plot along like I was doing before,
Right.
But bro, like I'm telling you, the margin that you could take at that time, once they declared that you were a day trader, was astronomical. And I said to myself, I'll never take the margin. I said to myself, I'll never take the margin. And I started taking a little bit margin, and I started to have good days. And one day I took margin at about 25%, and I bought Baidu, and that is Baidu.com. I think now is the company out of China. It's the internet company out of China. I don't know if it's the same one that's similar to Amazon, but anyway, but it was Baidu.com. When the market opened, I had taken a short position, and the stock dropped, and I made something like 25,000. I'm talking about, it was 5 minutes. I have 25,000. I made 25,000, and then I sold it. I captured that profit, and then I ran it. It ran back up, and I captured profit going back up. I made $64,000 in like 15 minutes.
Right.
So in my head, instead of thinking this is a great day, I shut it down. I made a whole salary for the year. You know what I'm saying? That's like what people make in a year.
No, 100.
Right. And this was back in 2007, 2006. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I should have shut it down right there, probably for a month or 2 months, and just let my mind clear from that trade, because it's called a windfall. And when you have a windfall profit gain like that, it really messes with the mind. Right. So, and I knew that because I read it in a book, you know what I'm saying, before it even happened. So instead of me taking the advice that the book gave, which was take a break, I try to go right back at it, and I had some good gains, but I took a position on margin on this biotech company, and I got hit bad. And I'm telling you, Marcus, this was like a series of weeks. This is how crazy it was. It was a series of weeks. In my portfolio, I had about 1.3 million or something, like 1.2 million. In a series of weeks, I had $250,000.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? In a series of weeks. It was fast. And I just tried to hold on to that amount of money. So I held on to 250. So I waited, but my wife, she didn't know But I
Right.
think she had some clues because I was acting really stupid and weird. Of course, I just lost
You
almost a
have a
damn.
tendency to
I
do that.
lost
Right.
over
Right.
$1 million. You know, I lost over
Exactly.
$1 million, right? So I'm sure she was like, she probably knew, you know, probably probably knew. I mean, my mind was so messed up at this time. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm out of the league. I don't have any structure. I don't have any place to go. I'm depressed. I'm having thoughts of suicide. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And all of this stuff is in my head, you
Mhm.
know. And I just lost $1 million.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I'm
that's broke.
broke. It's broke. It's broke. I got
Yeah.
250
Yeah.
left, but it's
Yeah.
pretty much
No. Yeah.
broke.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
You know what I'm
When
saying?
you're up there. Correct.
Yeah, when you up there. Yeah, when you up there. So instead of me saying, let me change directions, let me go coach or let me go do this stuff that I know to do, a dude came to me with a plan, right?
Okay.
And well, he didn't come at the time. I was already doing a medical device company. So I forgot to say this. I had a medical device company that I was running at the time too.
Okay.
But I don't want to talk about that because that's a lot. So it'll throw the whole story off. You know what
I
I'm
got
saying?
you.
But he worked for me in a medical device company, right?
Okay.
And he came to me with the situation because he had, I think he had sensed the situation, that something had happened because I was probably acting weird too at the office.
Right.
So he came to me and said, "What's your credit score?" Blah blah blah. And during that time, I had so much other debt that I could see that I'm gonna run out of money on this day. And I had my family. I was supporting my family. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So I'm thinking, okay, even before made the mistake of losing all that money, I could point to the day that I was going to be out of money, and that was messing with my mind too. And then we had some problems in my I had some problems in my marriage. Those things were messing with my mind. On top of the fact that I just got out of the NFL, a lot of shots to the head. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I'm not understanding why the depression is so crazy. What am I going through?
Not even realizing you're in it.
Right. Not even realize I'm in it.
It's just crazy moments.
Bro, it's a lot of guys that go through it. Like it's
Yeah.
the one story that resonated with me was there's this NFL lineman that got his PhD and his law degree. He was a lawyer and he had a PhD. He disappeared, bro. Went to Mexico, they never heard from him again. Multi-millionaire.
Right. It's crazy.
It's just the life. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's
Yeah.
just the life. Right. It's the life, bro. Like, so to continue on,
Yeah. I was just scared to ask you. So, what moved you from the stock until what you're about to share with us now? Because it was what real estate is where it started, right?
yeah, it's real estate. So
Yeah.
so I had I had gotten wind of a scheme that people were doing through the guy that was working with me. Right.
And you
And
knew it was a scheme?
I felt like it was a scheme, but they told me it was legal.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I was
Gotcha.
like, this ain't legal. You know what I'm saying? I kind of
Right.
knew,
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
you know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
saying it's legal, but I'm saying, oh,
Yeah.
that ain't
Yeah.
legal. You
This
know what I'm
ain't
saying?
legal. Right.
I talked to
But
Dwayne Washington. Dwayne Washington called me like, Hitch, that ain't legal. You know what I mean?
right.
But in my mind, I had already made up my mind. I'm gonna do it.
Right.
You know, and the reason why I made up my mind because I'm gonna do it is because I got so much to take care of. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm feeling like, what am I gonna do? You know, And instead of just relying on my resources and relying on the people around me and listening to my friends, mentally, I'm a loner. That's why I wear this lone wolf hat. You know what I'm saying? I'm a loner. So I'm saying I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna do it. Whatever it takes to I'm gonna feed my family regardless. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure that they fed, and I'm gonna make sure everybody fed that I've been feeding. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's where I was. And when he came to me with it, I kind of knew it was a scheme. I did it. And then when they did the second one, which is they put me on a home, and they wanted to run it through my.
Go into details on it.
Yeah, I can go into detail. Like, go for it. So say there's a home. This is the scheme. There's a builder, right? You have a builder in the community. He's struggling, right, to sell his property. Okay. What they would do first, before I started doing, what they would do was they would go to the builder and say, "We'll buy your property if you would sign off on what we do on the HUD," which is the document that you get at the end that you can put people on the HUD that's done work on the home, right? Stuff like that. So that's what we would do. We would get him to sign off on the HUD. If he didn't sign off on the HUD, if he wasn't going to be a part of it, then we go to the next builder, because we know that they were all in trouble because it was 2008 and all of it was crashing. Right. Everything was crashing around everybody. You see what I'm saying? So what we would do is we would go to them and say, this line item right here is going to be $30,000 to this company because they did the work. They did $30,000 of work. They did da 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 da. And then at the end, they would put you, if you were going to be on the home, you would get $300,000 because your company or somebody else's company did this work on it. Right. That's what the scheme was. Gotcha. Yeah. So we were doing it on multi-million-dollar homes, and you would get 3, 4. So in the first home that they left me with the bag, the home and everything, and I didn't get hardly anything, like $70,000, but everybody else got all the money. Right. So instead of me going to the FBI and saying this is what the situation is, I said, I'm gonna teach these people. You see what I'm saying? Yep. I'm gonna teach these people, because I know not a one of them are as smart as me in this group. I know that. I know that. So I'm gonna teach these people instead of me. This is the other part of me that's in a lot of African American males. You can have a nice guy and a gangster. You know what I'm saying? I could go straight to that gangster side if you wanted me to. If you push me there, I'm gonna go there, in certain ways. But now I'm 54 years old. I would never go there. You know what I'm saying? Because I got grandkids. But at the time, I'm thinking I'm gonna feed my family regardless. What I got to do. Whatever I got to do to feed my family is what I'm gonna do. And that was the mentality that just drove me to where I was going, and which was prison. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we did the scheme. And I knew that the days were coming, that it was a countdown, because I didn't have enough money to pay the mortgages. I had multiple homes in my name, and they were multi-million-dollar properties, $6,000 and $7,000 a month mortgages. And it's hard to rent those out. Even if you rented them out, the FBI already got wind of what's going on, and they know who the players are. Correct. You see what I'm saying? So, and I saw the agents around, you know what I'm saying? Because there's another guy doing it on a crazier level, where he ended up getting 60 years.
Mm.
Yeah, he was doing it on a crazy level, but he was doing things to antagonize the FBI and things like that, and thought he was untouchable.
So they really got him.
They gave him 60 years, bro. I felt bad. His name is JT. That's what we call him, JT. So it goes past that to, I know I'm about to get hit. You know, I know they coming. Me and my wife at the time my ex-wife separated, and I used to go up there to see my children and things. So they moved to Winston-Salem. I was in Charlotte, so I was back and forth, and back and forth. I was going back and forth, and then I was talking to my daughter the night before, and we were just having a good. My daughter Savannah. She was 2 years old, and she was saying she was having this crazy dream about me, and I was wondering about it. The next day, the police, the FBI showed up at their door. I was there. The next day, they showed up at their door, and she, was witnessing. All of my kids witnessed me get, and they come with their guns drawn, bro.
For sure.
But I'm saying
that you want that
guy. I said, man, y'all could have called me. I would have came down. And I said, could you please just I'll step out. Y'all go ahead and, do what you got to do. I'll step out. Just don't let my kids see it. They ain't having it. They all trying to push me. Oh, they're trying to be tough guys. Anyway, but I put myself in that situation.
So how much time did you get?
I got 3 years. And I did most of it in the county jail. I did 10 of it in Fed.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I did and that was bad, bro. I mean,
no, listen, they say county is worse than
my God.
Parts.
Bro, county jail is nuts. Like, and I'll just like I said, we'll get back into a little bit more at another time. But let me tell you about my first day when I show up at the county jail.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 400 people associated with the whole thing that I was in. 400.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 400. So around the country, and they started picking people up, and I saw them being picked up before, and I knew that certain people was pointing to me as the leader. You know what I'm saying? In some capacities, I would say okay, but I didn't start it. I didn't even know nothing about mortgages. Hell, I was paying everything, with cash, or I would put my money in my broker account and just get a loan for the mortgage from the brokerage.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I didn't know anything about mortgages.
Right.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know what a HUD was. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know.
You thought it was short for huddle.
Yeah. Right. I didn't know what a HUD was. What the hell is a HUD? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I thought, it was like a short for huddle. Okay. This is the type I know those.
That's right.
I know those huddles. So, but just like I said, the competitor in me is competitive in all things, which is bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to get as competitive as I possibly can in every single aspect that you bring to my life, So, it's just, hold on, what would we say?
You were going through your first day.
Oh, my first day. So,
what was it like when you heard the ball say click?
Bro, it was surreal, but it didn't happen on that first day. And this is why I was just going to talk about it. So they print me, they do everything, because you got to go to court after that and get arraigned and things like that.
Right.
Bro, I go into the county jail and there's no beds.
Okay.
There's no There's no beds available, bro. So they bring a whole group of people into this one mass area.
Right.
And everybody got these mats. They got to sleep on the floor on this cot, on this mat.
Right.
And the mat is about this thin.
Like you had in kindergarten.
Yeah. Like you had in
the PE teacher had, or you either took a nap when he was in elementary
bro,
school.
like they pulled out that mat, and I was like, what's gonna happen with that? What is that?
This is for you.
This for you, bro. This for you. This is what you signed up for. This is what you signed up for. I said, what? And I'm talking about all brand new inmates, and they all in the middle of the pod. The pod is like a circle. And then there's this big floor area at the bottom where people congregate when you come out your pod or your room.
Right.
They didn't have no bed, so we had to sleep on that area for 3 nights.
Wow.
Man, the stuff that I saw, the first thing I saw when I got on my mat, when they shut out the lights, is a dude run to another dude's cell. Yeah.
Wait.
This is right.
Like a late night run?
A late night run, bro.
Stop it.
This is literally the first thing I saw when I got there. The first thing I saw. And he performing fellatio.
Like I'm sleeping on my back from here on.
Bro, him performing fellatio on this dude. So yes. So look, it was a white guy right beside me, right? And he said it before I said it. He said, "You watch me, I watch you. You watch my back, I watch your back." I said, "Okay."
Right off the bat.
I said, "Go ahead and you go to sleep for 2 hours. I'm gonna tap you in 2 hours. You watch me in 2 hours."
Right.
And that's what we did. He watched me for 2 hours when I slept, and I watched him for 2 hours, and went back and forth until we got 5 a.m. That's when, 5 a.m., 5:30. We went through that for 3 days, bro. And it was a couple of fights. But in the interim.
Wait, did you get in any fights though?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. Not at this point.
Yet. You can't say no and not yet. Just say not yet.
Well, not in that environment. I mean, okay. We'll talk about it in the other environments.
All right. I'm just wondering now.
Yeah. So check it out. So it gets to day 2. And this dude is looking at me like he's sitting in his chair, because they got some makeshift chairs. Like he's sitting in his chair, right? And he keeps staring at me like this.
Mean mugging.
Just mean mugging me. And he did it the first day, and I noticed him the first day, but I'm like, I'm not trying to make eye contact with him because I'm thinking like this is a gay thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I looked at too many movies as far as that. Yeah. So they say you don't make eye contact. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking away from this dude, but he kept staring at me like this. Right? So I'm like, what this dude? I'm thinking, I'm gonna have to kill somebody on the first day. I'm gonna have to hurt somebody the first day. Cause I'm about to smash this dude. I'm about to tear him. Yeah. So he kept looking at me. And the third day he was about to leave, they was taking him out the pod.
Okay.
He turned around and he said, "You Jimmy Hitchcock, ain't you?" He said, "I know my football, bro, and I know you Jimmy Hitchcock." He said, "What the hell are you doing in here?" He's like,
No.
"Yes." He said, "Why are you here? You were Jimmy Hitchcock. You're not supposed to be here."
Yes.
I said, "Bro, it made me tear up right there."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It'll make me tear up just think about it right now.
That's how God work, man. You know.
Bro, he's like, "You're not supposed to be in here. You Jimmy Hitchcock." I said, "Wow."
Right.
Yeah, that
Eye-opener.
was my eye opener. And we got into my second eye opener. And we can continue on with the story later on. But so I'm in there for about 35 days. And when you get picked up by the feds, people don't know this, but you can go 90 days without contacting your family. You can't contact your family, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's called it's like an alien capture. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you just get caught up and so I didn't get to speak to my family for like 90 days. Yeah. It was crazy. Like it was like I just disappeared from the earth. You know what I'm saying? So I called my daughter, the one that I said that had the dream, right? I'm talking to my daughter, and she said, "Daddy, you need to come back soon because I can't see your face in my dreams anymore."
Wow.
I said, I mean, I went to my pod because we had gotten rooms by then in my bed, and I cried on my bed for like 5 hours.
I can believe it.
Yeah, 5 hours at least.
I can believe it.
And that was like another moment that got me so like, what happened? And from that moment forward, I started to think back on everything that I'd gone through. And that whole experience became an experience that changed me and got me out of depression. Because if I wouldn't have gotten arrested, I don't think I'd be on this earth right now.
Right.
That's just real.
No, I can believe it.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's how bad I crashed out. And me not knowing why it was so exacerbated when I did find out that I was just messed up mentally. Right. Why am I so messed up though? What's going on? Like, and then, the CTE reports start coming out, and then I started reading them in prison and things like that. And I started to understand that the head trauma was exacerbating the depression.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I had multiple concussions and things like that. But, as far as getting a clean bill of health when I'm at the doctor, I can get a clean bill of health per se. If you can say that, a guy who's played football for those amount of years get hit upside the head has a clean bill of health. You know what I'm saying? It's relative. Right. It's relatively speaking. You know what I'm saying? But, we'll talk more about it. But that's like my first day.
That's deep.
Yeah, that was my first day in prison. And the next few months in there would teach me all the lessons in the world that I needed after, I learned a lot of lessons before going in there because I came from such a messed up situation. But being in there, I learned a lot more lessons. And the first thing that I would say, the biggest lesson that I learned is everybody that's in jail know everything, and they never did anything wrong in their lives. Bro, like everybody,
never their fault.
No acceptance of responsibility. and everybody is a know-it-all.
Right.
It's and it's on another level. So I started to check my know-it-all attitude
Mm,
because it's nothing but know-it-alls in jail. Nothing but know-it-alls. It's a lot of brilliant people in there. So, and there's some brilliant scholars that could have been the best scholars in the world. I'm talking
right.
about it's some of the most brilliant people in that place. It's unbelievable. But a lot of them are very emotionally challenged.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? A lot of
Yeah.
them's been through so much hell, you know, and the hell that they've been through is the hell that they keep repeating going through themselves,
Right.
and that's what I tell people, like jail and hell, they don't rhyme for no reason,
Correct.
because all the people that's in jail have the same characteristics of those who you think are going to hell:
Right.
rapists, murderers, fraudsters. You have them all. You know what I'm saying? So I'll leave it right there. We'll continue on another day,
Yeah.
of going down this road. But yeah, I did
This
some
this
really
this, this is
dumb things.
excellent because one, it also shows that we're human. We make
Right,
mistakes, but there are people who are just getting out of this game who are going through some things that are very similar to what you talked about.
right.
And they need to know. They
Yeah.
need to be able to understand. Don't take that road. Like honestly, go get
Get
checked
get
out,
the
get an evaluation, see, you
right,
know, a psychiatrist, psychologist, whichever one you need to help you, you know, get out of that state because a lot of times we're competitors. So we're in our own way, even in the midst of trouble,
right.
because we're competing and trying to say we're not going to go down this road, but we continue to walk forward to it. We know we
Exactly.
shouldn't. We know
Right,
we shouldn't. And it's like, but I got to do this so that I can take care of this, or I got to prove that I can do,
right.
and
And a lot of it is a shame and embarrassment. And just getting over the embarrassment of what I put myself through was a part of it too. And my ego was so inflated by me being this person who was taking care of everybody, and not
Mhm.
being able to say no to people. Hey, I can't. I got a
Right,
family of my own. I need to take care of my family here. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So what I would say to those guys is, and this is the thing about it too, people need that therapy coming out of college too.
yes, yes, they
I'm
do, man.
telling you, they
They
think it's
do.
just the pros. It's not.
Mhm. Right.
People need the same therapeutic help in situation that they need coming out of pros. It's very similar.
It-
Very
I don't know. I don't know if there's a difference outside of maybe having more money as a pro leaving the game.
exactly. That's
But
it. That's the
outside
only
of that,
bro. That's the only
everything
difference.
else is very, very, very close. I mean,
That's
just man,
very,
that is
very,
true.
right. So I feel like it's incumbent upon these universities and institutions to put programs together that helps the athlete of all sports,
Yeah,
of all sports,
yeah,
to get over that situation, because it's a lot of people that go through that same situation, that's in high competitive situations, and the universities should be at the forefront of that.
right.
You know, that's just my thoughts.
No,
You know,
I think that they should have programs for that because it's very important. You have to realize that you've been on this stage almost all of your life,
right?
and whether it's taken from you or time is ended, because Mother Nature is undefeated, right?
Undefeated.
And so either way, that should be available for you. The league should have it. all the colleges should have it because you're this competitor, and most of us we see outside of it, but we really don't know what is outside of it. Yeah,
Right.
we know that it's going to end at a point in some time. We don't know exactly when, even when we say, like you said, I'm gonna do 8 years and then I'm gonna, be done.
Right.
Well, it turned out that 8 years you were out, but you really weren't done.
Right. And I didn't want to be done, really.
You didn't want to be done. That's right. And so that
Right.
transition of the mental never ever clicked over until those things happen.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we'll talk about the rest. I have some crazy stories, but that's the beginning of it. So that's the beginning of it. But yeah, it's good. It was a good talk, and it's good to actually share it so that others can learn from my mistakes, because I would not wish my situation upon anyone, because I went from a massive size home to a cell.
Right.
You know what I'm
That you
saying?
don't have any control of.
Right. And I no control of my life and no control of anything,
Right.
and then you just in an environment where you're on your P's and Q's at all times because you don't know what's gonna happen,
Right.
you know. So yeah, we're in it right there, Wall. And I hope people will understand, this segment, because I really just want to put it out there, because I'm also trying to start an organization that helps the community, and I just want people to understand that that's behind me. Those
Oh, for
times are
sure.
behind me. Yeah, those
Well,
times are behind me.
anybody who knows you knows that those days are behind you for sure.
Right. No
Like
doubt.
you were a good guy before then and good that guy through it, I'm sure. And then now you're
Yeah.
damn sure a good guy. So
Appreciate it.
things happen, life happens, and I don't know anybody that is perfect. So,
Absolutely.
and it's only been one to walk the face of this earth that is or has been. So,
Right.
and none of us are him.
That's for sure.
Him.
That's for sure.
So,
Well,
yeah,
all right,
definitely.
man. Well, we'll catch up on another day. We're going to try to have another guest on here before we take up a topic again.
Yeah.
Who you got in mind?
It depends on who you want. We got, we can do Bulldog, we can do
Mhm.
Shep.
Okay.
We've got like I would still like to get Stano and those boys on there,
No
Mike T
doubt.
and them.
No doubt.
But at some point in time, we're gonna have to get the big boys on. Or we might see them and they might beat us up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We got to get them linemen on the show, man. Definitely. We can't
Yeah,
leave them out. You know what I'm saying?
for
That's
sure.
what's up. That's what's up. But this is a UNC podcast, UNC alumni podcast. But we want some of the current people on here. We want some of the, people that's going to the pros, in the pros now. We want them all. We want everybody to come on here and talk about Carolina football. We want everybody to come on here and talk about your career, things that you did at Carolina, everything that comes out of your mouth on this podcast is about the Carolina family and how we do things and how we want things to be done a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Hitch and Walt.
Make sure you like,
Like,
subscribe,
subscribe,
and
and
share.
share. All right, like, subscribe, and share. Y'all heard it. All
All
right,
right,
peace.
later.
Later. Yeah, that turned out straight.
I think that's gonna be good, Hitch.
I did too.
I think that's gonna be real good, man.
I think so too, bro. Yeah, I think it's gonna hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.